Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the BNI Partners in Excellence show. I'm very excited today to have our newest member of BNI Partners in Excellence. So that's Lexi Buentello. Welcome to the show.
Hello. You did good.
I had to make sure I say it right.
You did it.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, we're expecting you to do it right, Cruz. So like everyone's like, I'm going to get crap if they don't say it right or if I don't say it right.
Muy bien. Yes.
Nice. So welcome. It was so awesome to have you in BNI Partners in Excellence. I know that at this point you haven't had the moment yet to do one-to-ones with everybody yet. So we're going to talk a little bit about like life, a little bit about business, what people should be referring you for, some of your track record, that kind of stuff. And that way, we can amplify your brand and what you're doing out in the business space and also give people a chance to know you a little bit better. Sound good?
I love it.
Do you have any questions for me before we get started?
No.
No?
This is amazing. I don't know how you do everything that you do. There's so many things.
Well, I have a lot of good help. It's like a lot of things. It's like you have good help around you. I'm sure the same is probably with you too. Like there's things I know I do, and there's things I've had to teach others, and then I don't have to do those same things. And I'm very fortunate that my daughter loves this. And so she's been long form editing for, most of 2025 now. And just last week, she crossed her 100th episode of full long form, like production and editing, where I haven't touched a single thing in shows, and she's really just stepped up and killing it. So
that's amazing. It's 100. It's the law of repetition, the 10,000 hour rule. Maxwell, she's doing it, and she's so young. That's crazy.
Yeah. Was it the 10,000 hour thing? Was that from? I remember. I can't believe I'm going to forget the book title. Malcolm Gladwell. Outliers. Thank you. Yeah. That's right. Outliers, and they use like the hockey example
Beatles. They would play
that's
at a strip club, and that was one of their first postings, and no one knew who the Beatles were, but they got all the time under the belt. Yeah.
I read Outliers so long ago that I'm thinking I'm getting old. Like those two things, those roads are like converging, and now we just had you had a memory car crash on camera with Andy. Oh, great.
I feel that happening.
What a strong start. So let's catch everybody up to like kind of this point. You found yourself in BNI Partners in Excellence. I want to, if my memory serves me correctly, I want to say that Paul Academia had invited you to our Visitors Day, right?
Yeah, he did.
So how did you end up meeting Paul? Like, how did you end up in our group?
So what's interesting is I had been praying a lot on lead me to where you need me. And what's so random is I had met Paul at church forever ago. He was checking my bag. He's part of the security team. And he's like, oh, what do you do? Small talk. Oh, I'm in business. Oh, you should check out BNI. I'm like, okay. Didn't think anything of it, right? And specifically, that had been months that had gone by, and I'd been praying, like, lead me to where you need me, wherever you need God, because God has been huge in business and everything that I do. And so I would just pray that prayer. And then the next day, he had texted me, hey, you should come into our meeting at, BNI at 7 a.m. I'm like, okay, like, let's go see what this looks like. So we did, and I went and met you guys, and so blown away by the hospitality. Everyone was so genuine and had such a hunger to help others. And it wasn't fake. It was, they genuinely just cared about people. And even seeing you, I think I hit the mic, sorry.
You're good.
It was just a well-oiled machine. And it was really, as someone who's a digital nomad, I work from my laptop all the time. I don't get to connect with people in real life. So being able to have that was such a recharge of community and feeling good and being with people.
So let's make our first pit stop right there. You use this term digital nomad, and you are on your laptop a lot because the business service you're offering is digital marketing and advertising. So like, how are you helping people in that? I guess it's a multifaceted question. How are you helping people in that space, number one? And then why is it so important that you still do the face-to-face stuff, even if you're also branding on the online ad space digitally?
Yeah. So number one, we help businesses that are established. We help people all over. So our slogan is we help make people's dreams come true. So we've helped people start from zero. They had an idea, they wanted to bring it to market, whether it be coffee, a sorority, it was placed on their heart. We help them figure it out. Here's your logo, here's your color palette, here's your website, here's how to market, boom, launch, all the way to established businesses. And currently we specialize in paid advertising. And then also we're really good at finding the holes. So a lot of these bigger businesses can be so established, making all this revenue, but there's little holes that are actually big holes and cause leaky buckets, and we're able to see that and fix it holistically.
What are some of the most common ones? Like if you were to like point, I know that for every business it might be different, or their size, scale, product, or service. What are some of that you kind of like see routinely that you go, oh, big problem over here?
Forensic auditing their ad accounts. So a lot of the times they'll be reporting that they get a customer at a certain cost. One of my clients, their old marketing agency, huge, like $1 million big dogs. they were reporting that they were getting customers in at $45, when in reality they were getting the customers in at $185. So the customer,
Whoa, that's a huge difference. Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, the client was losing money, and they didn't know that because the tracking was set up incorrectly, and they weren't tracking the right conversion events.
Without assuming that it was like, laziness, like what's the difference between something that's $45 for lead capture versus $185? Like, is it a mechanical error in the formula, or is it over? Like, I don't want to assume that they were doing it on purpose. That's what.
No. It was
explain a little bit.
It was a very simple mistake. They were tracking a subscribe button, but what they weren't tracking is some people go to PayPal. Some people don't actually successfully check out after PayPal. So instead of putting the conversion event at the thank you page, they were tracking anyone that clicked the subscribe button.
Oh, yeah, that's a step before you get to the. Oh, wow.
So
okay.
It was huge. It was massive. So we were able to find that, recognize that they were burning money to actually acquire customers, and we were able to bring it down to $8 for customer acquisition costs whenever we found the hole.
Wait, $8?
Yeah, $8.
So even from 45, that's a lot better, let alone from 185. You said 185?
185. And
that's nuts.
Their lifetime value, they didn't even know their lifetime value, which is super important if you have any kind of monthly recurring revenue, was only 138. So they were genuinely burning money to acquire customers, which was pretty crazy. And we were able to find that.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so that's a huge change. Is there another? I mean, that's like a pretty big example. So this happens routinely?
Yeah, you would be surprised.
Is it because the industry is set up that they're tracking the conversion from the subscribe button to the PayPal in this case? I mean, is it literally that? Is it that simple? That's the problem? Why aren't they going all the way to the end of the line where like the money clicks the funnel? I mean, falls into the purse.
I think it would come down to people's capabilities. A lot of people overpromise and underdeliver, and they are not as versed as they come off. And when you get into, and me, I'm always very from the stance of like, I'm just a girl, like we're figuring it out. We are a big company, but I'm very humble in the fact that I can always learn more. But seeing these huge companies that are doing kind of careless mistakes and being able to track those and fix those with our company is fascinating. But I think the biggest thing is, a lot of agencies out here, they're just not doing it right. They'll create pixels for their clients and they'll own the pixel, or they won't want to give away their Google access, even though it's the client's account with the client's credit card. They will say, "Oh no, I own the asset," and I think that's unethical. I think the client should always own that.
You're saying it super nicely. The word I'm thinking as you're saying it, I'm like, oh, they're holding it hostage.
No, actually. So then we have to go and try to either save and like almost hostile takeover somehow, but pretending I'm an intern and then actually being able to get it, or it's a total loss and we have to start from the beginning, which is hard. If you don't know anything about ad accounts, your data is very important. So please try to make sure you own your own data. It's very, very important.
Oof. Yeah, it's kind of like share keys. Don't just give all your keys away.
Yeah.
Like if I had house keys, I'm gonna give you a copy of my key. I'm not gonna just give you the only one I have.
Yeah.
I have seen that in other spaces in the video side of things, because people are like, oh, I don't even have access to my account. I'm like, how is it you don't? You are the brand, or you're the company. Like, how is it you don't have it? Oh, someone else has it, that I like a VA somewhere, a virtual assistant somewhere else on the planet. And I'm like, so first things first, let's get you to re-own the thing you already own, and then we'll go from there.
Exactly. You should always own all your assets. Mm-hmm.
What's another thing that you see kind of normally that you might, well, maybe you're not surprised by, but other people might be surprised by? Errors or oversights or gaps that you've been talking about?
Not being omnipresent, or not having, so when I say omnipresent, you're maybe really great at one channel, but you're not thinking of maybe we should be on Google, maybe, or do we have a good social media presence? A lot of the times I'll see, I call them my dinosaurs. I love them so much. They're old school and they love old school ways, and it's bridging the gap from the old school to the new school that really you find success, because it worked back then, and it needs a little bit of spicing up to really make it, and what got you here is not going to get you there.
Man, you're like scratching the surface of such a really big topic that's happening right now, just in our like culture and our time of living, which is, the switch from search engine optimization to search interest optimization, where now algorithms are trying to feed you more of your interests that they know about you in any vertical that's out there.
Yeah.
So I've seen this a lot with video space, because also I guess maybe we share this in common, is on our side, kind of once you've made the thing, once you've made the video, that's the hard work.
Yeah.
Putting it in LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and whatever, like that's just distribution.
Yeah.
And some people, and I understand why, they go, oh, I just want to be on Instagram. That's fine. Some people, I just want to do YouTube. That's okay. Sometimes people, I only want to be on podcasts. Okay, well, but you've done the work that it can be saturated everywhere else.
Yeah.
And also, though, because of the rate of change in like the AI space, I think it's really important that people either are understanding how to use the tools or have someone in their camp that does, because this space, even with video and market, it's changing a lot.
So much.
Even the stuff that is presented to you, real versus AI in YouTube space.
Yeah.
You have to mark it now when you are in YouTube Studio. You actually have to say yes or no if it has like
AI
generative.
Yeah.
And that changes. It has to change on the front end, which is being recommended to you versus not recommended to you based on its authenticity.
Well, and you had mentioned SEO now, and you have to worry about AEO, so answer engine optimization, and making sure that your pages can be found on ChatGPT. And what's fascinating about the AI is you could actually, there's this thing called vibe coding where they're using AI to build apps, platforms, like you name it, fully functional. And what's cool about this is that they don't have to worry about encryption or security because they're just piggybacking off of Stripe or any other app that they would need to integrate with. But the most mind-blowing part is you can actually prompt, if you're using Cursor or you're using Claude, you could say, hey, make this rank number 1 on Google. So this website could have a 0 authority score, no actual internal SEO, but because they prompted, it'll actually give them some organic searches.
Even if it has a 0 authority score?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on, because now I have all these other questions. Go back upstream. For anybody who's watching it doesn't understand what a Google authority score is, please explain it to them.
So a Google authority score, every website has a score from 0 to 100, and this is your search engine optimization. So this will be backlinks, a lot of Google EEAT. There's a lot of technical stuff, but essentially what you have to know is any website has a score from 0 to 100. The bigger you get, even the big dogs, Nike, they'll have 85. No one that I know of or that I've seen personally has a 100 authority score. You might have seen, I don't know if you've seen it. I haven't seen it.
No, not even close.
Yeah, so that's authority score.
So, but you're also now saying though, without an authority score, you can have AI create so much saturation of a topic or topic indexing and language modeling such that ChatGPT could pick it up even without an authority score.
Yeah.
So is that then a reflection that in the chat world, or let's say the ChatGPT world, that doesn't recognize authority at all? Because it's just looking for volume to then draw in your answer, correct?
Right. And so I have a colleague that has a 0 authority score, no paid traffic, nothing. He doesn't have a social media platform. He just simply prompted it as he's brilliant, but he simply prompted make this rank for these keywords and research what are the top keywords that I need to look for. And it was pulling. And so he was able to get conversions and people checking out just with this.
Okay. So how close is that to actually having an AI agent? Because you're saying it's still him doing all that prompting, right?
He's using agents. So he'll use Cursor and Claude operator together and it's just going.
That's
and it's building.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Oh my god!
it's I've seen people build from scratch, idea to platform and MVP, minimum viable product, maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and I've seen.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And they're insane.
Oh, that's way faster than I thought.
Oh yeah.
Oh shoot! I was thinking, okay, it's still gonna be a couple of days to like work out kinks. It's getting it to 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes, because what's happening when you put it into Cursor and Claude coding and the agent that's going, it's fixing for you. So it's not fixing,
and it's also working at its speed with no encumbered processes. Yeah. That's insane! Holy cow!
And in X and all these communities, even on LinkedIn, people are sharing their prompts and their frameworks. So they're just sharing the full library of how to build an app.
Sure.
And you just copy paste it.
They're open sourcing the open sourcing.
Exactly.
That's so crazy.
It's mind blowing.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know if we lost. Is anybody still watching this right now? I don't know. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. By the way, not AI, real people, real room, real cameras, real editing, no AI aids in the process of this. That's crazy.
Or are we?
So how are you how are you helping people keep up though? Because ultimately, doesn't this just become a game of speed of the nerds? Like, to put it not so delicately, isn't just, quickest nerd wins?
I think that's where you have to be really good at not being distracted. There's a term, the woman in the red dress. It's in the Matrix. Hormozi's mentioned it a lot. And it can be so easy to be like, oh, well, I could just make this instead. Or I could just change into that. Or, oh, these other agencies are doing this. Maybe I just do this. But really focusing on what you're great at and going all into that one thing. And it can be boring, but those people, you look at Gazelle's, Starbucks, Apple, all these huge, massive companies, they didn't become huge until year 2025. And so it's just the relentless going, repetition, same thing, and not getting distracted as much.
So on one hand, though, you're kind of describing shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you're also referencing companies that didn't have the advantage of AI like we do now. So is it still true then that it's going to take 20 years? Because, I mean, you're also saying that I can see things being successful like right away in the matter of like days or weeks or months versus, it's going to take 20 years to make $1 billion.
I think there still is the time because all these pop-ups are coming out and they're forgetting the branding, or they'll be highly technical and they'll forget about the customer experience or how did the user feel whenever they came in. So it's really hard to have the two merge. And so even though people have these, I'm part of an AI collective and top of the top. So we have engineers, founders of AI companies, MDs, you name it, and they are brilliant, but they don't execute. So they're actually saying sometimes that A players will work for B players or C students because they're too intelligent that they don't actually execute.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I get it. Like there's an idea storm happening and there's like an implementation desert.
Yeah. And so the people that have the brains, very rarely do they have what it takes to actually implement and execute.
Okay. Oh man, I don't even know where to take this now because I have so many questions about what's coming next. But let's go back a step, please, and let's talk to people who are maybe walking around referrals that they just don't know that whoever they're talking with or meeting with or has as a client or customer might be a good referral for you. So right now, what are some of the best referrals for you to receive and what makes them so good? Why are they good referrals?
So my best referrals would be established businesses. Maybe they're killing it, but they haven't gone online, or they're my dinosaurs. They love the way things are. They love pen to paper. They don't want to rock the boat, but they realize that, especially with brick and mortars, not what it used to be. So they really have to get online, go all in online, have e-com. A lot of them don't even have e-com. I have a client that does 1.2 to 1.6 a month in store, which is great.
You're talking about millions.
Yeah.
1.2 to 1.6 million in in-person sales.
Yeah, in-person sales.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does not have an e-commerce solution?
Zero.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And so we're adding that channel for them. But that's my favorite client. I love Shopify.
So if you walk into a place and you see that they have like a Rolodex or they're still writing on like a steno notepad or something, that might be a good referral?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's crazy to me is like sometimes those are those little things that get overlooked that actually help to generate their success.
Yeah.
This is just our method because it is a process, even though it might be clunky or feel archaic. It's still their methodology for bringing whatever they bring to the market and being successful in that. I still do think that there's something that I think the human nature wants in that personal connection, because I noticed that despite, let's say, the lack of the digital physical space that you're talking about them needing, I think people still really enjoy the human connection part.
Yeah.
Is that like too oversimplified?
No, people forget that. And that's Mike Hess, for example, you invited me to that amazing event. They're huge. I didn't realize how big they were until you actually see the in-person event. And you look at Yelp, all these huge, massive companies, they're so big because they cared about the experience of the customer. And a lot of times people forget that, but it definitely is the dinosaurs, they love it. That's how they got there. So you have to be respectful and mindful of their processes while still trying to offer like, hey, like maybe we can try this, or have you thought about this? But yeah, a lot of the times there can be massive resistance.
So what about business partners of ours or networking partners of ours that maybe they have a client that has a franchise? Our franchise is a good place for you to find yourself because of the ability to actually apply solutions that can maybe blanket numerous locations in a region? Yeah.
So what we find is it won't even just be the marketing part. So the marketing could be great and they get all the leads, but maybe they have a sales problem. So we're able to see like, hey, what's the last time you hyped up your sales team? What's the last time you had a rock star in there educating and training them? So my background is a COO. So I was it was a fluke. I started off as an assistant, and it was a Texas brand, Buff Bunny Collection. And we started in our living room. We thought we were super cute with little crop tops. And this little baby brand blew up from 0 to 3 million. And I went from baby assistant to chief operating officer. And yeah.
Wait, what?
So that's where I thrive is the holistic picture of the business.
Wow, that's amazing. So so take us back then to because now we're talking about some business backstory. This is all gonna come together. I know it. It happens every time I do a show like this with one of our members. I'm like, okay, this all coalesces. So when you were like younger and you're like, I'm going to go to school for blank, what were you trying to go to school for? What were you trying to learn when you're coming through high school, going to college and becoming an adult? What were you looking to do?
So MD all the way. I was supposed to be a doctor. My parents were like, you're MD. I was gunning for it. I took my MCAT. I shadowed a lot of hours. I did a thesis on baby tadpoles on SIDS research because I was gunning for the MD position. Like that's all I wanted. And in the process of taking my MCAT, I was working at Lululemon, which was a fluke. I'm huge into manifestation, everything through God, but having an intention of what you want in this life. And that's kind of a funny story. But my friends had, when I was at Lulu, they had asked, what do you want to do? If you could take off like, and I would just keep saying the MD part. They're like, no, like take that away. Like just for a second, what, if you could do anything, what would that be? Lululemon, actually, if you didn't know, they're huge on taking from mediocrity to greatness. They're huge. So they train their sales associates. They call them educators in the art of being great. And they really put a lot of time into that. But there was the first time that I really got into what do you want? And I was like, okay, if you could do anything, okay, great. There's this job in Houston and this girl travels the world and she's in this clothing company, but it doesn't exist. And my store manager at the time, shout out Becca from Lululemon in Texas. She was like, okay, write that down. I'm like, okay, Becca, but it doesn't exist. So like, whatever, like I'll write it down. So I wrote it down. And 2 weeks later, someone in San Antonio had literally looking for an assistant in that same field. So the job that I'd wanted
no way
happened. Yeah.
What?
Crazy. And then I met her in person. It was just like such a small world, but then also everything is always putting you on your higher path. Right. And so that started that, but if you were to ask me, I would tell you MD all the way. And then Lululemon helped me kind of take the blinders off.
Okay. Clear it up. Cause I want to make sure I heard this right. You said you were doing a research on tadpoles and SIDS?
SIDS research.
Like sudden infant death syndrome?
Sudden infant death syndrome. Yep.
What was the connection with the tadpoles and SIDS? What were you trying to uncover?
We were trying to do a diet anapse. It was a special diet that could tell the acidity or the pH. It's been 10 years. I'm 33 years old, but it's been a while. But it was connected to SIDS research. And
no way! Yeah, wow! Oh my gosh!
So super big in the MD. I loved it. It was
so how many years were you? I'm going to say the term chasing down the doctor dream. How many years did you spend doing that?
All through college. Yeah.
Holy cow!
All through college. Yeah.
And then so beyond the story of you like kind of creating this job that didn't exist, and all of a sudden this job exists, part of your life. You know, what was there another pivot point where you're like, oh, maybe I'm not going to do this?
For the MD or for
for MD. Sorry, yeah.
No, I was so gunning for it. It wasn't until the store manager at Lulu, she kept asking me like, "What do you want?" And with that, she's like, "Why do you want to do that?" I'm like, "Well, I just want to serve and I want to help people." She's like, "Okay, is there another facet that you could do that, but in any way that you want?" And that's when giving me the permission slip, I guess, to just think bigger. I was like, "Well, I'd love to do that, but like it doesn't exist, but I'll just put it down." And what's crazy, if you look at my goals, I'm huge on vision and goal setting. I do this to everyone that I work with. And if you look at my dates and timelines and living in San Antonio in a cute little apartment and having a vision for San Diego and wanting to be here so bad but not knowing how, I would write it down like I'm awoken in my San Diego dream. And now I live here. And
so how'd that happen?
I had a layover and I had fish tacos on the pier. And
hold on. First of all, I'm sure that's true for a lot of people, but then you end up staying here. Continue.
I had a layover, I had fish tacos, and I was just like, wow, this is my soul city. I have to figure it out. And at the time, I had everything in San Antonio. So I friends, family, work, everything was there. And just something I kept praying about it. And I was like, God, if it's for me, send me some signs. And one of my clients would tell me, it's a funny kind of story. She's like, tell me 3 things. I'm like, okay, Reese's Pieces, hot Cheetos, and it was a Mustang. And she's like, okay, we're going to pray on it. I was like, okay. She's like, for 2 weeks. I'm like, okay. So we pray on this thing. And you know how many Mustangs are in so many, didn't see any. But after the 1 week period, I wasn't seeing any of these things. And I was like, okay, maybe like San Diego's not for me. And as we're getting closer to the timeline, I'm seeing all these things for sure. And the only thing that was missing was hot Cheetos. And it was, we're at midnight hour. It's about to close. I'm like, okay, San Diego's not for me. Oh, really quickly, there was a Mustang. My friend, there was a really old beat up car outside of her apartment. And for whatever, it was far. And for whatever reason, I was called to go look at it. I'm like, that's a dusty, busty car. I go to look at it and it's a Mustang.
And it's an old Mustang.
Yeah, it's an old Mustang.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And so now we're down at the end. And I'm like, hey, I don't know if this is for me. And, my partner at the time was saying, oh, he was a coach and he's like, look at this. This is disgusting. It was one of his clients checking in with like food. And I was like, what is it? And it was hot Cheetos. But if you look closer, it also had the Reese's Pieces. So it was everything in what I had prayed.
Crazy.
It was like down to the wire.
Crazy.
Down to the wire. Yeah.
So those were all like the signs, if you will. They're like, okay, cool. Then I am going to be here in San Diego.
Well, I wasn't convinced yet. So then I came to visit once, and my friend that I was staying with, her code to get into her apartment condo, it was our family code. So that's a 1 in 10,000 opportunity, like
what
statistics. And then I was like, okay, God, whatever you want, we're going to go here.
Wow, that's crazy. Almost like, hey, you belong here.
Yeah,
like,
it was so much. And I would pray, and I'm like, are you sure everything's here? My community, everything's here. And it was just like, nope.
Not for a second, maybe you say the password was Lexi lives here.
Probably.
Well, what a weird password to get into the building I don't live at yet.
I don't know, God. Is this
but it sounds like it's almost one and the same if it's like your family code for stuff. And you're like, oh, that's the number I'm putting here.
I was like, you're kidding.
Wow,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
what a cool little story.
Yeah, it was wild.
How long ago was that? How long have you been here in San Diego?
4 or 5 years now. Yeah. 4 years.
Like in the COVID times?
Yeah, I came in during COVID.
Oh my gosh.
I was moving. Everyone said, what are you doing? Everyone's moving. At the time, people were moving to Texas from California.
It's like, hey, you're going you're going against the stream. Everyone's going to Texas and you're like driving the other way on the 10.
Yeah. Packed up. My dad and I, we drove. It was like 18, 24 hours. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's super cool. And even in the short time I've known you, I know you and your dad have a really good relationship. I know when he came to town, I saw you guys at like social media pictures like at Mike Hess Brewing. I'm like, hey, your dad likes Mike Hess. That's super cool.
I love my dad and my mom. I wouldn't be who I am without them. They've been nothing but you can do it. I believe in you. I love you. Just like you are with your daughter. Yeah. And that's so important. And what's crazy is you don't realize how many people don't have that. And yeah, if you don't have that, you can borrow my parents. You
know what's crazy? Not crazy. Well, I don't know if it's crazy or not. It's actually, I think it's just sad. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and this phrase like came out of my mouth, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think that just describes so many people I know. It's lonely together. Mm-hmm. Like we're all together, or we're in the same space, but like when you actually sit with people one-on-one, you find out how actually lonely they feel. Yeah. Even though you would assume, oh, we're all together all the time. How could you even be lonely? Mm-hmm. But they're lonely in their struggle, their pain, their struggle, their, where they're getting their butt kicked in business every single day or most days or whatever. Yeah. And that loneliness. And the person I'm thinking of was like, thank God I have my brother and we can do this together. Because otherwise I'd be so lonely in business. I was like, and it like struck me. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's almost like we're all lonely together, huh? And I was like, wait a minute. I just like said it. That's super cool that you are, even though you have the distance out here, that they're still, they're still connected with you and they come and see you and all that.
Oh yeah, FaceTime them every time.
Yeah.
If I miss a FaceTime, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, you're like that. Yeah. Okay, you're in trouble. You're about to
my mom will call me over and over.
Go to your room. Like I'm already in my room.
God forbid my location is off even just the slightest bit.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. I'm like, Mama, you weren't even like this when I lived in Texas. She's like, yeah, that was different. I could just closer to you.
So take me from moving to Texas to here. Going from MD, Lululemon, and now you're in this like digital marketing ad space and AI space. Like, was there anything in between those, or was it kind of like a convergence of life that drew you in that direction?
So after the chief operating officer moment, I got into personal training. So I loved it. I fell in love with that. Also started teaching dance on the side. And at the time I was working for Lifetime. So I've always been in the wellness fitness area space. And what's very fascinating to me is one of my clients that I used to be a sponsored affiliate athlete for is an actual client where I run their marketing now. So it's been a total full circle moment. Yeah.
So wait, you're talking about Lifestyle, the fitness equipment brand?
No. This one specifically is Rocks. Shout out Rocks Discount.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the fitness brand. Okay, I'm thinking of a different brand.
No. I was a sponsored athlete where they would give me supplements and I'd be like, go buy blah, blah, blah. And then now to go from that to actually running their marketing operations is a full circle moment.
Oh, wow. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So how did you uncover this talent for understanding all the things you do in the digital tech world now?
I think I owe that to my time and being into that e-commerce startup, because you can't go to school for the things that you're thrown into when you're just in it. And you go through legal, HR, how to work through people, how to manage people, how to inspire people, you name it, the full gamut of building a business. And I could maybe have gone for my MBA, but the on-the-job training that I got, I don't think I could get that anywhere else. And so it was a fluke. It was an accident. I was literally just trying to kill some time as I was taking my
You're saying it's a fluke like super casually, but it seems like it definitely has like major roots and that fingerprint in what you're doing now for sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I would not have been able to do what I do without my time there. And I got to a point where I'm like, wait, I could do this for other people and I can help them with their dreams and help them scale and start. A lot of people are afraid to even get out there. They have an idea, but they're like, oh, what if it fails? And it's like, just start and you can always pivot. Sometimes when people win, it's not their first time. It's never their first time. It's their fourth, fifth, sixth time, their seventh iteration, but just starting.
That's important. Say that again for people who may have missed that. Don't rewind 10 seconds. Leslie's going to say it again. Basically, don't quit. Right?
Basically, don't quit, and you need to get started. If a dream was placed in your heart, you already have the goods and resources to make it happen, so you really just have to start. It was placed in your heart for a reason, so just go for it and don't give up. You'll figure it out eventually.
Now, to a lot of people that might go, oh, well, that just sounds like pie in the sky, rose-colored glasses. It's rainbows and butterflies all the time. Like, what do you really want to tell people that might be feeling that way? Because that sounds very optimistic, and some people just don't have that experience in business. But what would you tell them to kind of like punch through that?
There's a quote. I don't know if Ed Mylett said it, but God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called. And if it's in you, you'll figure it out if you want it that bad. And I've worked with people that have never had business experience, but they just had a dream. One of my clients, Elizabeth, she's a cute little baby thing. She was probably 20 at the time. And I was like, what do you want? We were at a coffee shop, Better Buzz. And she's like, oh, if I could have 100 applicants, that'd be so cool. And she was nervous to say it. I'm like, okay, like write it down. And 2-3 years later, she has over 10,000 members. She works with Gymshark. She works with Nike.
What?
Yeah.
She's doing 100 and she has over 10,000?
Yes. Girl Gains sorority. Yeah.
Cow.
So she made this thing out of nothing, an idea.
Well, out of an idea, right? Which there's nothing tangible at first, but then, wow, 10,000 members?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
They flew her to New York to have a pop-up event with Gymshark and Nike. It was insane. Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
I'm so proud of her.
Well, yeah. So to all of you who might be sitting on an idea that doesn't have, let's say, teeth to it or doesn't have its legs underneath it yet, like go for it. Or talk to Lexi. She'll help you go for it.
Yeah,
She'll help you go for it. I want to make sure I take a couple minutes today to talk about, just life in general. You've already mentioned your mom and dad. Did you grow up with having siblings? What was family life like?
Family life is great. I have spoiled, like rotten, I was loved on hard. And yeah, my family's always been so supportive. It doesn't matter what it was. My dad even, so I by day I do e-commerce, digital marketing, and super technical stuff. And then by night I teach dance. So I'll teach heels, I'll teach all kinds of dance. And my parents have always been the biggest supporters no matter what. Whatever I want to do. Even when I first told my mom, like, hey, I think I'm going to pursue this. She's like, are you sure? You're going to be such a good doctor. And Mika, like, are you like, that's what you wanted? I'm like, no, Mom, like I can do. She's like, okay, you can do it. I believe in you, whatever you want.
So did you grow up doing dance too?
Yeah.
That was like your sport?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you play sports too or at all?
I played basketball. I was the Go team, which is like the lowest level of the lowest level. Definitely not a sport, but I can throw a mean spiral on football.
You can throw a mean spiral.
Yeah.
Okay, you can throw a mean spiral. I caught that. And then maybe you and Franklin should have a basketball conversation. Frank actually, I found out while interviewing Frank from our group that like he can actually like really play basketball. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, yeah. This dude
whip my butt.
This dude's over here doing pickup games with like Kawhi Leonard, who played for the San Antonio Spurs but came from San Diego State University.
Spurs go.
Yeah. So anyhow, were you a big Spurs fan growing up?
Back when we were good, we had Tony Parker, we had Tim Duncan, we had like the trifecta. It was great.
Oh my God, you're so young. I'm thinking of like David Robinson still, the Admiral back from my day. Oh my gosh,
David Robinson is great. Yeah, we used to be really great. I don't even know. I don't pay attention anymore. Honestly, I don't cover sports, but back then we were fantastic.
Well, what's something from your childhood that when you think about, you just really relish, like a moment, a time, a season of life, a chapter, is something you think back on, like, and you're just like, oh man, what a fond memory.
My family has just always been, we have the best Thanksgivings. They're so loving that even we'll like adopt friends. So say that they don't really have the support, the cariño, all the love that my family provides, they will just adopt them. And being such a open, my mom has a favorite, sorry Mom, but she loves her thing. She's a little messy. She's a little bit of a hoarder moment, but her favorite saying is, this house may be messy, but it's full of love. And she's so open to everyone, and she's always championing everyone. Same with my dad. So that's kind of what I always an open house of love.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
When you were growing up, even now as an adult and in the professional world, is there something that you were maybe told as a kid and then you're like, I don't know if that's true. And now you're like, oh my gosh, that thing's super true. Like I think of things like, I don't know if they're called idioms. I think I'm forgetting the terminology now, but it's like cheaters never win.
Yeah.
Don't cut corners. All that kind of stuff. Like, is there something you think of, you remember back then that you're like, oh, that's totally true now?
I mean, when you say idiot, I think the first thing is like treat others the way that you want to be treated. But one thing that comes to mind, my grandpa, I was like 4 years old, and he would tell me like, Mika, like close, like give me your fist. And so I'd go like, he's like, go harder. I'm like, arr. And he's like, open it. I'm like, okay. And he's like, that's power, and you have all the power that you need. And I was like, as a kid, I'm like, okay. Like now I'm like, that had such a lasting moment and effect because it changed my life.
So how do you apply that today?
I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so when it comes to teaching people or teaching dance classes or public speaking or being on here, being able to tap into that power, a lot of the times you can, out there, I tell everyone when I'm teaching or when I'm with them, you can be whatever you want out there. But when you're here, this is a permission slip to tap into that inner power, be confident and be you and really own up, take up space.
Why is that so important these days?
Oh, man, I will tell you, your confidence is going to sell you. Your body language will sell you before anything that you say. Everything's energy. So if you come in like, oh, I don't know, and if maybe like if you would like to, that'd be really cool. I'd really appreciate it. But it's like, it's everything. And it is hard because when you're starting, you don't have the confidence. So it's just courage. And you just have to have the courage. The difference between the two, confidence feels good. Courage doesn't. And you just have to do it anyway.
Do you remember a time in your life where that like clicked in? Because you're telling me the story about your grandfather. Yeah. But do you remember a time either, as an adolescent or maybe as a young adult going, oh, it's like on, and it just became the way you acted every time, everywhere? I think it happens when I dance, but then it also happens, I have leadership summits that we have. It's been 6 years now that we have leadership summits in San Antonio and San Diego. And whenever I'm speaking on stage, before it happens, I'm nervous. I want to throw up. I'm like, who am I to do these things? Who am I to bring all these people together and have this event? So much inner critic and self-doubt and all these negative, nasty things. That's the enemy, 100%. But what's crazy is I hate putting these things together because there's so much stress and like I want to throw up. It's just terrible. And then you get there and you're on stage and you have all this impact and people's lives are changed. They're like, oh, because of this, like I quit my job and I do what I love, blah, blah, blah. But when I'm on stage talking there, I'm like, oh, this is everything I've been together. So it seems a little bit, I'm just going to use the word conditional for lack of a better explanation, but it's like in certain situations, it's just there. It's like it's on reserve and you can just be right there. It's kind of like a permission, like it's always there. And if you have enough reps in the beginning, no one's good. You're brand new, right? So it's the reps and being unsure, not having the confidence. And then once you have enough reps and you have that and you can build it up and you have portfolio and you have the street cred, I guess you could say, because you have the proof is in the pudding and you can stand on that. But if you're brand new to it, I mean, fake it till you make it in the beginning. And then eventually, study body language, how people receive things, make everything about people, learn human nature. And then you can really, if you can learn human nature, you don't even have to really worry about your self-presentation. Just make it about other people. It's funny you said that fake it till you make it. Some people, even after they make it, they keep trying to fake it. They're like, oh, well, that's what got me here. You're like, that's kind of what got you here. But then like be able to provide the thing you are selling over here. It's the making it part. And it's kind of painful to watch, especially when it's someone I really love or care about. Yeah. And they just keep trying to fake it until they make it. I'm like, dude, you already made it. Stop faking it. Like now that you're giving this qualified advice to this service, like just keep doing that part. You don't have to go like fake it anymore to get more of that. And especially for seasoned people who tell me, oh, I don't know what to talk about, or I don't know, this or that. And it happens a lot in this space where it's like, well, what am I going to come on the show and talk to you about? I'm like, basically all the stuff you talk about all day long that people trust you for and know you for, right? Well, I don't know what to say. I'm like, man, I don't know. You've been in business for like 30 years. How is it you've been in business that long and you don't know what to say? That's crazy. A lot of the times I have visibility blocks. And what's crazy to me is when I first started, I didn't have any notions of like, oh, what if people are going to think? I just fully sent things, didn't care. And the more seasoned and successful that I've become, the harder it is actually to show up because I'm now too technical. And so I'm always operating on like, oh, it should look like this. I get stuck in the over-analysis paralysis and then also perfectionism. So it's very interesting. Like you would think that the more reps that you have, you're fine. But no, it actually gets more pressure. Well, no, but it's interesting to me like from a psychological perspective or a human behavior perspective, because you're saying that your clients, you find them in a place where there's imperfection and you also know that perfection isn't possible, but you're also trying to sell me on the idea that you're this perfectionist when you know that that's not actually how it's possible for even your clients.
I think it's the shoe cobbler that doesn't have shoes for his son, and I'm great at doing things for everyone else, but doing it for myself, I'd rather pull teeth.
Yeah, I get that. No, that's super fair. No, that's super fair. When I was one of my first jobs in high school, when I was 16 and 17 years old, I'd work on the summers with a friend of mine who had a carpet cleaning business, and he cleaned everyone else's carpets, but not his. Yeah, because I'm home at the end of the day. I'm not gonna hook up my machine and clean my own carpets. Why would I do that? Other people pay me to clean my carpets. I'm not doing this one. That really wasn't his attitude. That he was a wonderful man. David, thank you so much for hiring me as a snot-nosed teenager to help learn how to do steam cleaning. Yeah, and for all of you who think I just sit inside all day long or that's all I've done, that is not true. That was a really good work experience. In the summer in San Diego, it's not hot in San Diego, but like when you're talking about like steam cleaning, it's like, 212 degrees coming out of the wand there. Those are hot days. Anyways.
Well, but what you said, I'm always a big believer on how everything you do is for you. So even the lessons that you picked up as a steam cleaner, like they all just add up to exactly what you're doing. So even if you're a dishwasher now, you work at McDonald's, whatever, be the best at that thing because you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, I think it's also like there's something to learn there.
Yeah.
It's not just to like mindlessly go through the day and perform these like labor tasks and then go home and like forget about any lesson you could have learned. Like we talked on the way in between jobs. Like he poured knowledge and wisdom into me because he was the business owner and he had other trucks. So he was like running the business as he was also operating his part of the business. And I got a front row seat to that. At the same time that I learned how to actually work hard and then earn. Like, oh, this is going to be hard. You're going to go home tired and exhausted and sweaty and stinky. And then you're going to go get up and do it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And having that, I don't know if it's like a grit matched with a little bit of like, I think stubbornness.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
Stubbornness because I was like, no, I'm gonna do this.
It's 100%
but
what it takes.
I did learn a lot of work ethic from that for sure.
Yeah.
Right now, in the middle of all the things that are happening and changing around us, in San Diego and online, is there anything that like keeps you up at night that you're like, ooh, I can't resolve this thing I'm thinking about, or ooh, I'm kind of got one eye on that. It's making me a little nervous. Like, is there anything that keeps you up?
The dead internet theory.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. I know what that is. Explain it for people who don't know what that is. What is a dead internet theory?
We'll get to a point where there's no one really online. It's either going to be all AI generated, people's AI chatbots in the background. No one will actually be on the other side of the social media part. And sometimes you'll see some weird videos on TikTok or Instagram that have millions of views, and it's this flower, like a video of a flower, nothing at all. And it gets really kind of squirrely when you start thinking about that.
So I'm probably sure that this might be mistaken when I say this, but I think the origin of the dead internet theory was all the way back in the blogging days. I say all the way back. It was years ago, not 100 years ago, guys. Come on. I know I'm bald, but I'm not that old. Where it was like, oh, there are no new blogs anymore. Like they're not written by people, even though like I've literally sat there and like written stuff. But in context, it's like, hold on. The majority of what you're reading is not been written by humans anymore, not being upkept by humans anymore, and it's there because we're either prompting computers to make them and to post them and all that, and then going back full circle to AI agents over here. That is what that's how I originally was turned on to the idea of the dead internet theory.
Yeah.
And now it's just become a much larger possibility and even conversation. But that keeps you up, huh? You think about that a lot?
Well, the way the speed that everything's going, it's just, I feel like inevitable where people that are hesitant to pivot or change with the times, like they'll be left behind or get lost in the sauce. I don't know. It's just everything's moving so fast, and each day there's something different. And like there's ChatGPT 5 now, there's Claude Opus 4, there's all these different models, and it does keep me up at night in the sense that you always have to bulletproof your business, because say that the day comes where it's like, okay, you can just push a button and it'll be optimized ads, no back end, nothing research, just boom, done, ready to go, it's published. Then what? So as an agency, you really have to bulletproof yourself at how you can make a full custom experience for your clients so that they love the results and they just can't get that thing with AI.
Do you ever think about, and I guess I'm answering the question I asked too. Like I think about machine errors a lot.
Yeah.
I think about garbage in, garbage out, like as a rule.
Yeah.
So, that I can ask a question or I can ask, a machine to do something for me. But if it's pulling from a subset of possibilities, which includes bad apples of the bunch, bad answers, bad data, and I'm also have to be mindful that what I'm getting as a response still might also have that like thread of untruth, bad data, bad information in it as well. I think about that, I think more often than I'm aware. Because I'm saying it right now, and I'm like, oh, I actually think about this a lot, where I'm pretty sure that's not the best answer. It's just the one I'm being given. And I could probably ask the question a second or third or fourth or fifth way and get the actual answer, if you will. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Oh, man.
Well, what's scary, the AI hallucinations. So there'll always be 10, 15% hallucinations. So there will be made up data or synthetic data just to please you. That's completely inaccurate. And we already see there's an airline that lost a lawsuit because they had a chat bot that was answering questions. And because they were using AI, the court ruled against them that it was their fault, even though it was an AI hallucination that caused the mess up.
I did not know about this.
Yeah, hallucination. That's also another thing that keeps me up at night.
Holy cow.
So it'll never be 100%. And depending on what you're using, so ChatGPT is a little bit more free reign. So it'll cite anything just to make it sound solid. Versus if you use Claude, it'll be a little bit more conservative. Like, I'm not really sure. It'll tell you no versus trying to please you. Whereas ChatGPT is known to just hallucinate some answers.
Is that just like a feedback loop problem in the design, or what would you attribute that to though?
Just how it was created. There's no way to work around it. There's no ChatGPT. There's no AI model that has zero hallucination. It'll always be there.
Sure. No. Yeah. No. I get. Yeah. I understand that. It just architecturally speaking, it's going to do that. But that also kind of like that seems to me like it's almost stepping on the toes of the whole like garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
Because if all I did was like feed it BS all day long, that's going to be included in the library of sets of answers for certain things that I just intentionally put garbage in for.
Well, there was a incident that happened with, I believe it was Gemini and Google, and it was being trained on Reddit. And
God.
it assisted in someone self-harming because it was trained on Reddit, and it was bad data, garbage in.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
it's crazy.
You go find that on your own if you want. I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah, no, that I did hear. I didn't hear about that. I read that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh. This is actually one of the problems that people have been worried about.
Yeah.
Is that there's going to be a real life, real world outcome because someone was getting data from a machine and then translating that data into action on their own self or against somebody else. With fatality. That's nuts. Okay. That's enough to keep me up at night. Is there something else keeping you up at night? Like just business wise or...
Business wise, I feel like you always feel like there's always something else you can do. And especially when you're focusing on the 20% that really moves the needle and you're saying no to everything else, you can always, that keeps me up all the time. Like I could help everyone and I want to help everyone, but that actually keeps you small. So focusing on the 20% that's really driving most revenue is going to keep you big. Because if you focus on everyone, everything will always be custom. You're not going to be able to have SOPs or templatize your workflow because everything's so bespoke. So I used to be really proud of like, we help everyone and I'm from everyone. But now we're very established in like who we serve. And if anything, I want to build tools that are free for small businesses. Like, hey, here, this is what you can use. And when you get to this point, reach out to me. I'll be here.
Wow. That's awesome. Is that I mean, I have a question also with the observation. It seems like that's really gratifying to you. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite part about what you do? Sounds like that's already it.
Yeah.
What do you get the most satisfaction out of, when you're working with clients?
Seeing someone that had a dream and thought that it was impossible and walking them through the fire and don't go here, focus on this. Helping millionaires make more millions, fun because you're technical and it's exciting. But helping someone from zero make 20, 30, 50K in a month, like that gets me excited because they never believed that they could ever make that happen.
It does seem like that's somebody else's story. Like, oh, that's someone else's playbook. That's just how it like worked out for them, being an Amazon reseller or, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But I think it is possible that it's more likely now than it's not, partly just because you have to be willing to step into the arena and do it. So if you are willing to step into the arena, you're already giving yourself a much better chance of that being an outcome than by not doing it at all and just hearing talking about it.
Yeah. And then you'll always wonder what if, and what if I would have done that? And what if I would have launched it? What if I would have sent it? Like, yeah, it keeps you up.
Do you ever what if MD?
No.
No?
No. It's funny.
You're like, no looking back.
No looking back.
No regrets.
No regrets. Yeah, no. Like, honestly, God has been so good, and I out-earned MDs and the top of the top. So I'm very grateful. My mom, one of my neighbors that lived close to my parents, they come to visit me, and they're an MD, and they're like, wow, I just love your life. And like, you really are. I'm like, wow, that's what an interesting frame. What an interesting frame. Yeah.
It's also, I mean, everything we're talking about now is completely changing their field as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's changing every field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, oh my gosh, this could probably go on for like years.
And now I work with MDs actually to help them build their own stuff.
I'm sure because they're going to have to. Like, I mean, at this point, we're at almost like this impasse where if you choose not to, you will even more quickly be left in the dust than you would have like maybe a year or 2 or 3 years ago. Well, certainly 3 years ago, but even more than like a year ago. You know, there's the law of diffusion of innovation. Do you know that chart?
No.
I've referenced it before, but essentially it's like a bell curve.
Yeah.
And it talks about like early adopter, like innovators, early adopters, early majority, mass majority, and basically how as something new technologically comes about, you know, like a flat screen TV, right? It's like, okay, when it first came out, there was like the innovator, only people at the very tip of the tip ever had that.
Yeah.
And then you got the early adopters, early majority, whatever the next one is. And then eventually now it's in mass and it's cheap and everyone has it. It's at scale and it's inexpensive.
What's crazy to me about that concept is the people that are the first, they get slaughtered on the way to do it because they're too new. It wasn't as widely accepted. So even AI, right? It's been around for years.
The iPod's an example of that.
Yeah,
like Dell was it Dell or Microsoft? Who had the Zune? Someone came out with the Zune before the Apple iPod, and it was crushed because the iPod was just a better product. But they weren't first to the market. Yeah, Apple iPod wasn't first to the market. They weren't the first MP3 player.
What do you call a singing computer?
A what?
What do you call a singing computer?
A singing computer. What?
Adele.
Wow. Oh my God. Hey, I think that's the first joke I've had on the show since like Mark Johnson told me bad dad jokes, which everyone loves Mark for. Mark, we love you for your terrible dad jokes. I have a new one for you. No, I'm sorry. I won't take credit. Lexi has a new one for you. That's a good one. Sorry. I was talking about the law of diffusion and innovation. I just feel like, you know, you're going to get, not you, doctors, they're going to get left in the dust unless there's some adoption like real quick because again, all this medical data, all this like library of reference material can be just chopped through and like provided extremely quickly. And I'm already seeing like social examples of feeding systems symptoms and going, what is most likely the cause of this? What are some prescribed solutions, not prescriptions, but what are some solutions I might be able to offer the patient? And then being able to choose from some of those. That's crazy.
What's crazy too that I'm really excited about is once again, everything you do is for you. So one of my other clients had asked me to get HIPAA compliant and something that I never thought I'd use. But that HIPAA compliance, I'm actually now, because whenever you connect something to AI, it null and voids like the BA agreements, like your PHI, your public health information is at risk. So being able to find and circumvent solutions for these companies and still maintaining HIPAA compliance is really fascinating.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're basically telling it information that you're supposed to have behind a closed seal.
Encryption, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Now in this conversation, I'm like, oh, I'm behind.
No,
great.
There's so many things. I know,
really but
exciting.
it's the opportunity as much as it's the problem.
Yeah.
There is so many things.
Yeah.
I don't mean problem. It's just I think it's going to revolutionize every industry.
Yep.
In so many different ways. There's like a lot of things. There's just layers to it. I'm just so fascinated with this. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a couple of like kind of final questions so we can like wrap up because I would nerd out and talk about this like forever. I might just have to have like a whole separate conversation about all the other questions I have. What is something someone told you that inspired you that you'll just always remember?
So I went to the acquisition workshop with Layla Hermazi and Alex Hermazi, and what's great about this, they had a sign, others do the bare minimum, we do what's required, and I love that. And I tagged her in it. She had messaged, she's like, oh, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, no duh, it's like your event. I'm going to see you talking, you know? But the next day at the workshop, she sat down next to me at lunch, and I was able to ask her, like, you've assembled a team of Avengers, everyone's top talent, people, HR, systems, marketing, you name it. How did you do that? And she's like, you get more of what you are. And so the more that you are great, the more they're going to attract great. And so that's been a huge, huge one for me.
That is fascinating. I love that. That's a good segue kind of to this one. If you could have dinner, if you got dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dinner with anyone, dead or alive? I'd probably have to say the Hermazis. Yeah, they're big. Love them a lot. They've helped my business so much, and they're what I love about them is you see them and you see Alex and you're like, oh, he's all of it. But more, he's marketing, and she's the badass. And it's so inspiring as a woman to see someone give someone else flowers, because that's very rare in business. A lot of times people try to take all the credit. And in true leadership, you take all responsibility, give away all credit. And just seeing the two work together, where she's operations, she's people, she's the horse that moves the whole engine. Fascinating.
They are a very good example of complementary giftedness.
Yeah.
And the knowledge and awareness of that, and allowing the other and each other to just run in their own lane. Yeah. And they're such a good example of cross complementing each other in business and as a married couple. There are very few examples at that level with that much depth of just execution.
It's great.
Yeah,
and a lot
crazy.
of the time you see people, and it's a quarterback and a cheerleader, but it's very rare to see a quarterback and a quarterback. And as someone that's like a quarterback, it's just super inspiring, because they show you what's possible when you allow both to really be in their prime and not just like one be the backseat.
Yeah, and I think it'd be naive to be like, "Oh, it's always been that way." No, you grow into these people, because obviously there has to be change along the way for the duration of any long-term relationship, in business or in personal. And in this case, it's both. And it's like, man, they just are executing at such a high level. And I'll say even this, there are a handful of people, I think, right now, and I'll say human time, that have that level of influence on people of influence in marketing space, digital space, creative space, business space. There's some other people I'm thinking of too. Like, and I'll say it where I'm gonna introduce Gary Vee to the conversation, only because I think there's so many millions of people who are also themselves talking to millions of people, where you're maybe 1 degree separated from these voices that are tilting and pivoting the way we do things. I think it's actually altering business behavior, creative behavior, infrastructure that we don't see, and the presentation of that infrastructure that we do see. They really have big voices and trust in these spaces. They've
changed the game for sure. And I love that they have been so just giving, like, here's all the information, give away all the secrets, sell implementation. And they just give.
Something that I remember from, back in my earlier years, back in my day, when I was young in B&I, and I had the opportunity to serve as a director consultant for 40 years, and I got to teach, train, and all the classes in B&I, go to international conference. I really was fortunate to spend time and create a little friendship with the founder of B&I, Dr. Ivan Meisner. And one of the things he used to train us as director consultants is that, only 3% of people that ever go to a networking event that collect a business card will do something with it. So you can give all the education away for free, and a very small percentage of people will do anything with it. There's just not a lot of implementers. As a person being an implementer, or people that have that implementer capacity to even try to become one if they aren't already. And so I'm not scared or surprised. Like, I'm not personally scared of giving away stuff for free, or I'm not surprised that they do it and they still are
they're killing it,
elevating.
It's opposite of what you want, because it's a human nature, mine, like covenants, like mine. But it's the more you give, but it's hard because you have to be in a position to be able to afford to give away things for free. But it's so counterintuitive. It's just like, so funny story. I'm not a huge tithing person, but recently I'd gone to church and I hadn't been in a while, and I was commanded, like, all right, $200. And at the time, it was like a very interesting time in my life, because there was invoices that were floating. It was kind of a weird, in business, it's funny, you're never safe. Like, you can make all this money, but you just never know. And you could bulletproof yourself, but there's times where you're a little sweating in business, no matter how many deals you make, whatever. And with that being said, I just having the blind faith of having to give, blind faith, and just going, and what comes back is insane.
So my last question I want to ask you today is, if I were to hand you a microphone in the middle of a stadium and you get to thank somebody with 100,000 people listening, I know there's probably a lot of people you could name.
So many people.
You're in the middle of the largest arena you've ever been in. There's 100,000 people waiting to hear you thank somebody, Lexi. Who would you thank and why?
I would have to thank God, honestly. I would thank God because he gave me my family. He gave me this opportunity, everything, my gifts, abilities, everything is it. One of my favorite things is your gifts and abilities are God's gift to you, and what you do with them is your gift back to God.
Wow. That's a great answer. You did a great job today. Did you have fun on the show, by the way?
That was so much fun.
Was this exciting? And
so exciting. I don't know if I looked in the right way. So hi. Hello.
It's okay. I think there's more cameras that I don't even know about in here. But so for anyone who needs to reach you, let's leave the information in the description box below, but tell everyone right now, what's the best way to reach you if they need help?
You can go to findyourbliss.co. You can also reach out to me at Lexi Buentello. Kind of hard spelling, but we'll put it in somewhere. And I'd love to help you see how I can, if any way that I can help you with anything that I know, let me know. And I'd love to help.
Well, Lexi, thank you so much for coming on to the BNI Partners of Excellence show. And if you're finding the BNI Partners of Excellence show for the very first time, you can come and network with Lexi and myself every Wednesday down at the Chula Vista Golf Course in Bonita. That's right, the Chula Vista Golf Course in Bonita. Open networking starts at 6:45 a.m. That's right, it's never too early to make money. Meeting starts at 7 a.m. promptly. You can register yourself or your company to visit one of our upcoming meetings. The link is in the description box below. Lexi, outstanding interview today. Thank you for spending time with me here on the set.
Thank you so much, Andy. This was amazing.
Awesome. You did a great job, and we'll see you all next time with another great guest. See ya.
Bye.